Cup champions.
Good evening and welcome to Celtic Rumours TV, episode number 140 of the Bawz and Bovril podcast. I'm your host Mark. We've not got any Terence or Paul. Paul's knee's still knackered and Terence isn't keeping too well, so tonight we've got Jerry, Campsey boy for the forum joining us, and JFP for the forum will be joining us, I think, if he can work out what he's doing. We've not been doing a podcast for a couple of weeks simply because Paul and Terence's health situations and that, but Jerry stepped into the breach. Thanks very much, Jerry, for coming on, mate.
No bother, Paul, no bother. Mark even.
I've just fallen out with me, you're just on already.
No, at all. Good man.
A few shout outs to some of the lads on the forum, obviously Paul and Terence, for they're not keeping too well. Tim Alloy's not keeping too well, they know either. He's back and forth to the hospital. Richie, Welshie, Big Jabber and that. I think that's all the guys off the forum. We'll see who's in the live chat. Bobby, nice to see you, Bobby. Terence, Brian, nice to see you, Brian. Where my missus in, it's no nice to see you. I see you too much as it is, but thanks for coming in anyway. We're up to 790 odd subs we've got as well, which is creeping up. We're part of YouTube partnerships. So after another podcast, that'll keep growing as it is. Thanks for everybody that joins in. The links to everything, our forum and everything is in the description box below, and the link tree. All Celtic fans are more than welcome on that for a bit of crack and a bit of blather about what's going on at Celtic. There's JFP there, I'll just add him. Here is John.
Yep.
John.
Yep, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Aye, I can hear you.
Loud and clear, mate.
Aye. Right, well, let's get the ball rolling then, sir. Who wants to start with? Jerry, you were in first. What was your taking last night?
Oh, well, typical Celtic. We get used to that, mate. I think we're used to it. I thought it was positives last night. I thought McGregor, I might be in a minority here, I thought McGregor was back to his old self, trying to cover every blade of grass. Matt O'Reilly, Scales, totally different player. I was wanting to hunt him, start the season, couldn't believe he was anywhere near the squad, never mind in the team. So I had a couple of wee moments, loose passes, but I thought, no, by and large, he had a great game. Walking out of there last night, gutted, absolutely gutted. I couldn't see them coming up the park and scoring after everything we were doing. A couple of minutes before the goal, their keeper's doing time waste and looking for the one each draw. No, it was a bit gutting, but I think there is positives. I still think we'll finish at least third in that group. I don't know about the rest of you, but no, I definitely think third's achievable.
What about you, John?
Hey, can you hear me okay there, Mark? Aye,
I can hear you fine.
Aye, well, we've already had our own two-way podcast for the last hour, Mark. So I'm feeling a wee bit better. And as you said to me, how you feeling? I said, scunnered. It must be therapeutic when you're talking to one of your own about it, because I'm feeling a wee bit better. I've not even I've not actually really thought that much about the game in itself. And I think just through to the, for what a better description, just being scunner, just the massive disappointment. Because this was on the cards. We were always going to be here.
The result has kind of overshadowed parts of the performance, to be honest, didn't it? I mean, we played well for long spells of the game. And it's just typical Celtic. It's always a sucker punch.
Mark, I still can't. I can't even. I'm reading even the posts on the forum about us playing well, unlucky. You know, I was 20 years we've been unlucky here, eh? 10, pretty unlucky for the last 10, very unlucky for the last 20. I'm just fed up hearing it, eh? It's,
this is a learning curve and stuff like that. It's a repetitive,
just
sound bites into it.
I've not got over without even discussing the game. I think the saddest thing for me, I think one of the other one I posted up was, for want of a better technical term, we were a ball here away from making an impact in Europe just for that one of the two or three quality additions. Actually, without criticising individual players, I don't think you can blame the players last night. I don't think you can blame the manager. You know, for me, my finger's well and truly pointed at the club, at the board, in terms of, I think you let the manager, I think the club let the manager do, let the players do, let the team do, let the fans do last night. Where it's Champions League night's just getting to the point. It's painful, eh?
I mean, I've said it before. 100 times. Are we at the level? And I know it's a bit of a kind of crude comparison, but are we just at the level that we're happy enough, like an old prostitute, just to turn up, get paid, and take a pumping?
No, I think there was a naivety about our play the last night, Mark. That see our game management, and especially in European games. I mean, you look at them; they're I know you know why to go down that road. They're getting down in the box as if they've been shot. When we've got the ball, so the play's getting stopped. They're willing to mess about with the ball at the back, keep our wasting time, then they come up the back and pump us. If we to try any of that, Parkhead would be going off our chump. We need to get wise to these kind of tactics. I know we're not wanting to see folk rolling about, but it's been going on and we get cheated out it all the time. It's not the first time it's happened, it'll not be the last until we smarten our ideas up. But
the punch to Hatate's face last night, that was terrible.
Aye. No,
I mean, I'm not saying it made any difference if the guy had been sent off, but they've gave us at least a man advantage in the game.
Aye.
But for the ref not to get that, but for VAR not to get that makes it even worse.
I couldn't agree more. But somebody in the forum had made an interesting point. We're talking about the board. Out of all our Lowell or Baby Lowell signings, I think there's been 15 since they came in. There's only one starter. I think it's Alistair Johnson. I mean, if that doesn't tell you the board's letting us down, then nothing will. I mean, don't be wrong. Some of these boys that have come in have got the potential to be right good players, but we're really needing first team players here and now to push us on.
But that's what we signed. We signed potential. I think was it Livingston the other week that I'd posted up there. I think out of the 9 players we'd signed in the summer there, one of them started, and that was only because the injuries to other centre halves was big. Lager Bielke. Everybody knew. We all knew what was needed here. You know, I'm really. I almost kind of get into the analysis of last night's game because the big disappointment for me is Celtic wasn't outclassed last night. For back, my telly went the blink halfway through it, but I was relegated to get my information through the live chat for you guys. But I didn't even buy we all knew what was needed to make a fist of this. And it wasn't as if we weren't outclassed last night for what I could see. I wasn't at the game. I didn't buy the package. I've got a season ticket, but I just refused. I was that disappointed. Other reasons, just for personal reasons in terms of the time we get back here. I'm up early again, Suman Maladi, and if he doesn't go with me, I end up with a dark o'clock walk. I'm just not up for any more through shuttles and back to the train station. But I don't see we weren't outclassed in Fireard. We weren't outclassed last night. The real scunner for me is that we were literally that 2 or 3 quality additions. And I'm not talking. If I was going to look for Celtic to go and spend £20 million and on a player and buy 3 of them, that's. But if you're looking for it for quality, I don't have a problem with buying 8 £3 million players. But see if we'd have brought 3 £8 million players, starting with the goalkeeper, the left back, we were looking at a centre defensive midfielder, but the biggest one for me, and nobody's been talking about it, is an option up front that we didn't have last night. It's just the fact is, you've got an elite manager, you've got some fantastic players that you've tied down there, and O'Reilly and and the likes, and yet we just didn't do the next bit. We didn't do the next bit. The jigsaw was to put the 3 seasoned professionals, no marquee signings. I don't know why they care. I'd never heard of them. But the 3 seasons professionals that came into the first team and made us better. You're not telling me we our resources, the fact we're a window to the league that shall not be named, and the chance to play Champions League football. You're not going to tell me we couldn't come in and get a better challenge to Taylor than Bernabe, a goalkeeper that we could have signed for 6-8 million. Somebody, a CDM and a striker. I'm not buying that Celtic just can't bring in that class of player that could have made us better in Feyenoord and made us better last night.
I totally agree with that. And we talk about, I don't like to use the term marquee signings because, let's face it, really, £8-10 million to Celtic, is that a marquee signing? To a lot of the fans it would be, but it's bread and butter to teams down in England and teams in the continent. So for me, the marquee signing was going out and spend £15 million on a player and that, and I think that's a long way off for Celtic. But I keep saying it as well, but it's the wages that we pay. You'll get bargains out there. Transfer fees shouldn't really come into it. If you can identify a player you want, you need to try and maybe push the boat out more with wages to get these kind of players in. As you said to John, we might never have heard of them. Do you know what I mean? But Michael have heard of him. We get Michael to give an update. Look, do you know what I mean? And it doesn't need to be the big name that we're all, look at that, but just somebody that you can actually, once you look into them, you can see what they can do, and they're going to come into the team and be like a first choice pick right away, hit the ground running. And you can't guarantee that, but I'm probably is that 27, 28, 26. You know what I mean? No, a 21-year-old that you know. I mean, it's like that. I think Ohm looks like a cracking player, but he's nowhere near the finished article. It's going to be a couple of years before we see the kind of best in him. Matt O'Reilly's at the next stage. He's ready to probably the next 2 years. Matt O'Reilly won't be at Celtic. But that's
your problem, Mark. That's what was talking to you about earlier on. If you remember the term that the previous manager made when he was asked when recruitment wasn't happening quick enough at the time, they said to him, "What's your point in recruitment?" He said, "It's not happening fast enough." And the fact is, we don't have the players you're developing here are going to be away before you've got a chance to put the quality on a bit. And it's rinse, repeat, never just the same cycle. And the dafties are going to turn up and pay our money. If I didn't take my Champions League, package, somebody else was going to take it. Well, I'm well aware of that. That's almost as if that's the level of Celtic's ambition. This is not what any of us want to hear, but we almost need to be buying and developing potential and moving them on in terms of the speed of moving them on faster than we're doing now, quicker than we're doing now, because it's the only way that we've got a generation cash. We can't get any more bums in the stadium. Your media, your TV deal, that's what it is in Scotland. Your revenue is very limited. The only we've got a way of generating cash that will allow you to pay the bigger wages to attract a better quality of player that you're speaking about, Mark, is by buying, developing, and selling players, which is Rodgers. You've got an elite manager in Rodgers. He's the man that can do that. I've no saw his interview last night. Maliki was going bonkers on the live chat about it. I've not seen it. I saw a wee Buzz was talking about it a wee bit tonight. But if his comment was that he can only coach and develop the players that the board gives him, he's spot on. He's bang on. That's last night's no Rodgers' fault. Last night's no. We could get into the minutiae. You buy the big boy for Liverpool on loan. And you'd expect him to be able to defend a corner. I didn't. I've actually not seen it back again. You could get into the minutiae of the game. Hatate, by all accounts, appeared a bit anonymous. But to me, we're discussing. There's a discussion to be had that's bigger than that as to why we're here. Year 10, year 20 down the line, we're still turning up for another pump. And as I said, the sad thing is we're not getting pumped. We're just getting. We could have said you were on the map there. We could have had a draw in Holland, and we could have had a victory last night. We could have 4 points to the table for 1, 2, 3 decent quality fucking journeymen that could improve the quality of our first team.
You're spot on, Jay. Hey, John. Spot on. But tell me this: do you think Rodgers would have came here if he knew that he wasn't going to have decent cash to spend? No, I think that would be one of the first questions he's going to ask.
The one thing I don't, the one thing I just can't get my head around about now. He's a hard man to get. I think I'm not bad at reading people, but Rodgers is not easy to get a handle on, eh?
Mm-hmm.
The one question I've got to say to you, Martin, I don't know what Rodgers signed up to here.
No, I agree.
The one thing is, Brendan Rodgers is all about Brendan Rodgers. Brendan Rodgers didn't come up here and put his reputation and his ego on the line if he wasn't promised, if he wasn't. And I don't think what he got. He told you we needed quality and we needed power in the middle of the park, and we've got neither.
But see, reading between the lines of the transfer window, do you not think there was players that wanted and went for, but just for one reason or another it never came off?
You either I think you're right. We sniffed a bit was it the Spanish boy, the left back? There was the Scandinavian striker as well. The goalkeeper went on forever. That boy. I mean, if that goalkeeper had been, see, we're not expecting Celtic to get. We're realistic. You're not going to expect Celtic to spend £20 million in a player. But if that goalie could have been had for 6-8 million, why not? The left back. The bottom line is, I'm not saying this is easy. You need to get to the point where we've got the players getting developed, but the quality is there at the time. The players you're developing here are going to be on their way when you're going to be bringing in the next round of pups and nothing to build them run about again. And it's just not happening. Angie, that was Angie's point. This is not happening quick enough. The models, the business model has failed the last 10, 20 years. I mean, I'm looking at some of the positive comments on the forum about we played well, we done this, we're on. I'm just fed up hearing this. Absolutely fed up hearing it. Turning around there, guys paying good money, 60,000, sold out last night. Myself included, paying what we're paying for a season ticket. I was in there with my son and my two grandwins, bringing Brian four strips to get my 40-10 in the Celtic way, 260 quid for 2 Wayne strips, and my strip, my tap, my laddie's tap. Families in that shop spending hundreds of pounds, and you've got your man Law saying the 72 million staying in the bank in case we don't win the league. You've really got it. I think Law took, and Campsey's talking there about maybe Mark Law's maybe his track record's not as good as it's been reported to be. If it's 1 out of 15, it's certainly out the 9 with Celtic that's we signed in the summertime. We one started against Livingston. The first year Angie's recruitment was spot on. That was probably a lot of players that he knew. Second year was a disaster, and you've paid the price for it in the third year. It's not coming together to allow us to be better, to make an impact in Europe the way that it's amateurish, and it's just rings and repeat. And why would you want to go and pay another £160, £180 for free tickets to go and watch us getting pumped again in Europe?
Well, I mean, I know Jerry's just said he still expects us to finish third. Has one of you got another window open?
No,
there's a bit of an echo. John, have you got YouTube open or something as well?
No, that I know. I've got another computer opened. If that's, could it be that? No.
It might be. Just mute it, John. No, sometimes if there's other devices about it, kind of.
The other one's not got a camera or a mic on it, so it's certainly not that.
But it might be the actual internet buzzy kind of that we don't see. Do you know what I mean? Well, that seems to be better now. Just there's a bit of an echo for somebody there.
No.
What was it? I forgot what I was talking about now.
Well, John, you're grown quite rightly about the money in that, the £72 million in the bank, signing players. Should it be our scouting network? I mean, surely they've got to identify half-decent players, and then Rodgers is obviously going to have a look at them. Well, we'd have hoped he'd be having a say in who he's want to get signed and who he's no. I know modern nowadays he'll go and say, look, he's looking for a right back, a centre half, a striker, this is what he's wanting, and then it'll go to the recruitment team to try and source these kind of players. But surely if they're not doing their job properly, then they need looked at and all, because it's getting ridiculous that all these other teams seem to be able to find those so-called smaller teams. Look at Club Brugge. I mean, look at the money the money some of these teams have spent and generated as well. Surely they can't. We've got to be able to identify these players and all, and move us on and get us progressing.
But see, that's what I was saying before I said that about the Echoes. You see a lot of the signings that we made, Jerry, it is what people are saying, it's projects. See, in 2 years' time, Home, Telio, Palmer will probably be first team players for us. Because they're the ones that, do you know what I mean? Because the other ones will have moved on. That's there's no, I mean, it's not going to, if we're saying these new contracts, that's great. The only great thing about that is we're going to get more money for them when they leave. I mean,
that's exactly right.
Exactly.
These guys are not going to be there for their contract term. These on the board. I mean, forgive me for being a cynic, but Peter et al. Their primary concern there is protecting their assets, which in itself is a must. You look at how the rebuilt Tribute Act, they've watched other players running down their contracts, walk away for nothing. That can't happen. But equally, Celtic's business model, where we don't go that next stage, where we have the quality and the development potential at the club at the one time, like a Bruce, like a Bo Doglan, to allow us to go and compete and we're at the point where we're saying we've not won a game in the Champions League at home in the last 10 years. We've not made an impact in the last 20 years. Well, the Tribute Act's been to 2 finals and since we were in
Seville.
In Seville, and that's a fact. And it's they've rebuilt themselves and been in 2 finals since we were there. So something. If people that's on here saying, "Oh, we played well, we were unlucky," but it's a patting the board. It's failed. The board is failing. Unless you think keeping your foot in the Rangers' neck is if that's the level of your aspirations, we're doing all right, and we've just succeeded in getting a second-hand car salesman sacked again. But if that's the level of your ambition, fine. But for me, they're not my benchmark. I'm looking for Celtic to my dream was always been that we'd have made our mark. We'd have made our mark in Europe again. Aye, winning the Champions League's a big ask. But tell me another word. No winning a game in Europe at home for the last 10 years is failure to me. And I don't care about Peter Lowell or Desmond or anybody else wants to cause it. That's for a club Celtic size, 60,000 season ticket holders, a worldwide fan base. Back to our noses bleeding. It's failure.
I agree. My benchmark would be Europe, especially with the Ori season. We never even had them in the league. We could have put the league in the back burner a wee bit and concentrated more on Europe and looked to do a wee bit in Europe. However, Lowell does need to take a lot of flack for that. No giving the managers the tools to progress. All right, fair dues. There was Lennon's tenure at the end. I wasn't his biggest fan. But I was hoping over the next couple of seasons, this season included, that we'd actually be able to do something. But again, it's always fine margins in Europe. I thought there was stages last night. I was looking, thinking they're knocking the ball a bit well. Movement was quite well. Maida, I thought that was the best game he's had for us. And he actually had a first touch last night. But as you said, we could have been doing, we were all wanting in the summer, a keeper, another left back. I know you're a massive Taylor fan, JFP.
Yep.
I was wanting somebody else, but I can't knock the guy. We've got Scales, who was at Aberdeen last season, playing in the Champions League this season. We've got a couple of them that have never played at all in the Champions League, making their debut. It is a massive jump, and if we had that extra quality or that wee bit of experience, then who knows, we could have been sitting in 4 points.
Even to be fair to Scales, sorry John, but to be fair to Scales, he's not even looked out of place at the Champions League.
No, that's what I'm saying. It's a massive jump.
I think Scales has done fantastic. But he's actually, I think he's been the blessing in disguise. But I'm sure we were all nervous when we were heading to Govan with Scales as a centre back. Going to find out I'm a Taylor fan, but for Bernie to bear back up to Taylor, to have Joe Hart in goals, to have started last week with Bain in goals, with Scales and Lagerbielke, all right, we've had horrendous injuries. Alistair Johnson, fair dues. I'm a big Ralston fan. Airdrie's finest as well. And for me, the biggest thing, the lack of muscle in the middle of the park, and the biggest, and there's not a lot of people talked about it, to be still still relying on. We've got a man up front that's 4'6" with a shoulder injury, and we've got all back him up that's yet to prove that he was ever a replacement for Giacomakis. To me, that's just that's incompetence on the board's part for me. Some of these players maybe fell through. You should never be in a point if when we're looking at one goalkeeper, we should be looking at 3. That's the bottom line. We should never have found ourselves in a position we did get into the Champions League with the squad that we did. From a squad management point of view, and as I say, this goes back to what Angie's talking about, the velocity, the speed it needs to happen at in terms of bringing in players, we need we're timed in and protect our assets, but we're actually getting to the point, and it's not what we want any is want to hear, but we need to move the Matt O'Reillys of this one quicker, make money to allow us to bring that next level of player in on a higher wage. It's the only way we've got to generate more income as a business.
I think Mark's touched on it before. It's not the transfer fee in itself. It's the wages that are going to attract us the better players. Because I don't care. See, at the end of the day, you can have all the badge kissers in the world. They're all out there for the money. That's the one thing that they're looking for. They tell us one thing. They'll be here for this. They kiss the badge, but no. What it all comes down to is the readies. They want the biggest payday they're going to get, and that's what we need to remember.
And it's like people say, they're not going to come to Scottish football because of the wages. They will.
Of course.
Why do you think why did all these players up sticks and go to Saudi?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Mind that player that Hulk went to China for some like 200 grand a week.
Because he was never heard from him again. But he'll be happy.
See, the big question for me is, you mentioned it there, Campsie. What did Brendan Rodgers sign up to? What did he think he signed up to? Was how we are getting into the Champions League what Brendan Rodgers thought he signed up to? I don't think so. I don't know Brendan Rodgers, but I don't think so. Hopefully you get all your answers to that in the January transfer window, because that's going to need to be better than the summer window. And again, but you're back to summer. Some of these guys that you've tied in will undoubtedly move on, and it's back to that point, rinse and repeat, and it's just not happened quick enough. Right. It needs to get quicker. The cycle needs to get shorter. It needs to, whoever we're recruiting, whoever this is happening, at your Bruises of this world, it needs to happen at Celtic Park, or we're just going to be the whipping boys forever and a day. And I'm just getting old, but for one, I was starting to think, you know what, I'm just fed up getting away back in here when I've been working all day and come back at dark o'clock, up at daft o'clock to watch a team that doesn't seem to have the same ambitions that I have for my club.
Right. Well, the first question you think any decent manager is going to ask you before they sign is, how much money am I getting? Yep. And how much control am I going to get? After he always asks what his wages are going to be. But once he's signed that, he's not going to sign up for something if he's not going to get the money, the cash to spend, especially with Rodgers. As you said, I think he's got a kind of big ego, so he's not going to be happy to put up with just coaching and developing players. He's good at it, but he's wanting cash to spend, and he's wanting to try and do something in Europe, because he knows essentially this is only a 2-horse race, this league. So it's Europe he'll be wanting to get gauged on, and his teams to get gauged on.
Right from the beginning, I didn't understand what was in this for Rodgers. One thing we know about Rodgers, we don't know Rodgers personally, but the one thing we know about Rodgers is it's all about Rodgers.
Yep.
I didn't understand what was in this for Rodgers, unless he was going to come back here and win a treble, like his predecessor did. It was failure. Now he obviously failed at Kilmarnock in that respect, and he instantly just couldn't achieve what the previous manager did. The only thing that was left open to him again was progress in Europe. And for me, for what I can see, the club didn't deliver on that. And if I was a betting man, I would think that's what. Hence why he said last night, I can only coach, develop the players that the club gives me. And I think he's right in that respect. I don't think you can blame the recruitment on. Gone are the days of the manager jumping the bus and get away to see a player playing. The days are finished. Yep. He's an elite manager. He can coach. I think you can see in Matt O'Reilly what he can do for how he can bring a player on, bring the best out in them. You've seen that in his goals for column already. In Matt O'Reilly alone, I think you can see how happy the players are to play under Brendan Rodgers as well. I don't think I'm not convinced a lot of these deals would have been signed up under Angie. They're obviously genuinely happy to extend their stay here under under Brendan as well. The one failure I see here is the board.
Evening, O'Doyle. Evening, O'Doyle. Martin, evening, mate. Jerry, that's Jerry McGinn, that Arkham. Evening, Jerry, how you doing, bud? But see just what you're saying there. I don't think Matt O'Reilly would have still been here if Ange is still the manager. Terms there, I'm calling people with my name. John, I don't think Matt O'Reilly would still be here because he's had a couple of wee pops, hasn't he?
Yep.
The difference between Ange and Brendan Rodgers and that. But see, the way you look at it, right, for me, you kind of split the squad into three types of players, right? You've got like the young guys, the projects, then you've got the guys like you're going to see like Matt O'Reilly and Hatate that are just kind of becoming the players they're going to be, and then you've got your kind of experienced guys, but we've only really got like McGregor and Joe Hart in that kind of category. I mean, I know Carter Vickers has played a few, but he's not really played at any kind of decent level, the Championship at England and us. And it's the experienced players that we've got a shortage of. We've not got players that have got the kind of savvy to get into the games and see these kind of games against these Italian teams that are masters of the dark arts and stuff like that, as you call it. And that's the players that we should have been. As I said, even if we were saying guys that were 30-year-old, it didn't matter as long as you were coming out and doing a job for this season and we weren't paying stupid money, obviously. But just even if we were kind of classed as like a stopgap, do you know what I mean? Supposing Rodgers said, we need a CDM in, right? Well, right, X, Y, or Z. We can't get them. Oh, we can get so and so, but he's 32. Well, he does a good job for a year. Aye, I mean, look at Aaron Moy. He came in and done us a good turn for a year.
That's why I'm still surprised we never even bagged Elyounoussi on a free for a year or two. I think he's still done a job and he's got that bit of experience about him as well. I thought we'd have been in for him, but I see he scored the other week in the Champions League.
Elyounoussi, even that Tete.
Aye. I know. He would have been some player. Is that the centre mid? The boy was at Leicester?
Aye.
He'd have been a right good player to give in there.
So, a left winger, can you play it in the wing as well? Does that know where we were talking about playing him if we got him? Evening, Joseph. Thanks very much for coming in again, mate. But they're two players, Elyounoussi and him. The two of them, no transfer fees involved. So, but I don't know. Did we ask the question? I think we did with Tete, but again, the wages maybe wasn't the best. Kind of, he got a better offer elsewhere. But you've got to, what you're saying, Jerry, just players, there may be no cost big transfer fees, but they maybe come in and just do a job for the here and now to get us through these kind of games.
Yep.
Push the boat out maybe for a wee bit, for somebody a wee bit special that can maybe be the difference, drawing a game at the Champions League or winning the game at the Champions League. I mean, we've not got any player in the Celtic team that you could put in the same kind of bracket as your kind of, I know they're exceptional players, but even like your Rumours, your Larsons, we've not got any player in the Celtic team that does anything. I don't know how to put it. Like, we've not got that bit of somebody that can create that wee bit of spark, that wee bit of magic.
I heard somebody talk the other week just at the game. They were just last season. They were talking about how good Angie's team were, and they were good to watch. Nobody sadder to see him going at a time than I was. But there was the discussion about would Angie's team beat Martin O'Neill's team. I think, I mean, behave yourself. Anybody that thinks this current team would beat Martin O'Neill's team forgets how good Martin O'Neill's team he was. You know, Hearts and sort of the Larsons for starters. That's before you get in the middle of the park. It's who's kidding who here, and one of the things that they had a bit as well. I had Paul. I don't know if you got a chance to see Paul Lambert getting interviewed the 5 greatest things in his career, and he was talking about that Celtic team, and he says, you know what? See if somebody wanted to come and play football, we could play football. See if somebody wanted to go toe to toe, we could go toe to toe as well. He says if somebody wanted to mix it, we could mix it. And that's it. And that's a side. I don't think we've got the guile. I don't think we've got the tallies are streetwise. I think the next team that comes is the very same, and so's their manager. That's maybe a Scottish thing, that kind of honesty in your play as well, isn't it? The tallies have always been rolling about.
Aye.
It's a kind of continental thing. I mean, Porto as well, even in stuff like that. So that's always been a bit of a trademark. But it's yeah, where you are, it's a kind of mixed bag. With you're at the cup, we're top of the league. You're 4 points ahead of St Martin. You're 7 ahead of the rebuilt Tribute Act. Oh, in that respect, see what's taking away the back of my mind. What did Rodgers sign up to? And has he been let down? Where is this all heading? Is it because I don't think there's any doubt. I mean, the league's no. See, we're talking about my disappointment here with Europe. This is a sideshow. The main thing, especially with the expanded Champions League next year, is that we win the league. That is just for me. For me, the board compromised back to what I think I said the other week. It's speculation when you've not got the money. It's investment when a business does have the money. It's investment, and they failed to invest. But the league is a priority, and it happens in Europe. Just happens in Europe. But we need to stop them getting to the expanded Champions League money next year, and 2, we need to get there. I don't think there's any doubt. I mean, I know that I've been working with Unique. I don't watch the telly there, but it looks as if they're coming again. There's another superstar manager coming to knock Rodgers off his peg again, the same as the Charlotte that just left.
Oh, I'm praying it's Lampard.
Aye, Lampard. Aye, but I mean, the man was a charlatan, was he? Charlatan. And the mainstream Scottish media bought it too. He was coming for us. He was a genius. He was the brains behind. He was the brains behind the, what do you call him?
Sir Slippy.
Aye, Sir Slippy. I mean, as thick as Sir Slippy was, he's in a bad way if Beale was the brains behind him.
I know that kind of what with Sophie, Beale kind of blew that theory right out the water, didn't it? For the way they all harped on that Beale was the main man and stuff.
Oh, it's hilarious! It's just hilarious watching it unfold. It's absolutely hilarious. I mean, they're just the gift that keeps giving. It's you need to just thank him for the memories and thank him for the squad that he's left them.
Yeah, Martin, just what Martin's saying there isn't any Lubo or Larson out there for the money we have. Make 100,000 a week in the Middle East or the USA. Don't know if America's paying wages like that. They've got a wage cap. And I think Scottish players get basically more than they get paid. Russia and then China before. But not every good player's playing out in Saudi Arabia. There's no Martin. I mean, there's players out there. You watch Champions League highlights. Look at players like Bodo Glimpton now. All we're talking about is a proper number 10 or a cent or a cam, whatever you want to call it, that has got a bit of skill about them and can do a wee bit of something different. And even if it is a player that we're going to come in and I don't know use the word project, but even a player, I mean, we can even go back to that Odegaard. I think when Ronnie was meant to be trying to get him in.
Aye.
And then he went to Real Madrid and he didn't work out, and all the Celtic fans were, oh, thank God we didn't get him. Look at him now, he's a captain of Arsenal. You know what I mean? There's players out there, again, with the scouting network that Celtic's got, we should be able to find them. That's it. I mean, if you're scouting players for Korea, Japan, Argentina, with Bernabé and things like that, there's players out there that can do that job for Celtic.
But there doesn't even seem to be any. There doesn't even be any strategy to the recruitment this year. I mean, many midfielders we've got home.
I know.
Foyne and man, I don't even see any logic, and there didn't even seem to be any strategy to it. And the fact that you're away looking at, you've tied down 9 development potentials before you've secured the 3 quality additions that you need, which should have been the first bit of business done. Yep. I've just got serious. I've never been involved in recruitment in a football club. But you're watching his camps. He's talking about the Club Bruges and some of the teams in Europe doing it considerably more successfully than we're managing to do it, which means that you've got to have question marks over here over Mark Lowell, the scout network. the club's ambition, all of the above.
Well, I'm not holding out much hope. I mean, I've not seen anything in Bernabei yet that makes me think he's going to be a half decent left back. I know that he was apparently highly rated, but if that's what we're scouting and that's the best they can come up with, I think we're in trouble.
4.5 million. It's not as if we didn't spend the money.
No. I'm not disagreeing there, but you're thinking if that's the best we can get for £4.5 million, then we're in a bit of bother. If we're looking to upgrade the left back position, we can't get somebody a bit more quality than him at than £4.5 million.
When have you ever seen Celtic with one striker? One striker, 4'6" with a shoulder injury, and a laddie backing him up that's possibly has potential. But that's what you bought. You bought potential, loads of potential. But you sent last night, and in Holland, you sent laddies out to do a man's job, and they gave you everything they got. I don't think any manager could have done any better with what was at his disposal in terms of his game management. The only bit of the jigsaw that's left again is recruitment.
Evening, Joe. Thanks for coming in again, Joe. Nice to see you. But see the thing. I mean, I even said when Rodgers came in, I thought would kick on under Rodgers because I thought he would have been made his type of striker. He's a bit bigger, a bit more physical. Like when you look at like Dembele and guys like that, Edward. But O's not going to get better or prove the doubters wrong by getting 10 minutes here and 10 minutes there. The guy, what do fans expect him to do? Come on and score a hat trick in 10 minutes when we're sitting at 1 each or 2-1 down or whatever. I mean, the guy's got to get a bit more game time under his belt to actually see what he can do.
I don't know if he's suited to playing up front himself. That's the thing. Well, I know he's not himself, but I think he'd be better with a two-way Kyogo in a different formation. I don't think he's going to be suited to be playing through that kind of middle bit himself.
So I'd like to see Rodgers go back to 4-2-3-1. For a simple reason, it would make McGregor a better player if he's got a proper CDM in there beside him and he doesn't need to worry about that. And I'd even try, see Kyogo playing that number 10 cam role. I'd like to see Kyogo in there. I said that for the minute I saw him playing for Celtic. He's never an out-and-out striker. I know he's scored goals, but for me, he's never an out-and-out striker. And he's I don't know if this is going to sound stupid. He's a better footballer than being just an out-and-out striker. Do you know what I mean? He's got more to his game than just putting the ball in the net, so we should utilise that.
He started to drop a lot deeper under Rodgers anyway. You've seen him coming back into the kind of midfield. And I'm not saying switching with Mattarelli, but there was times, a good few times last night, Mattarelli was a lot further forward than Kyogo, and he's dropping back to try and get more involved. I'll never forget the time Strachan had said about Edward and all. I still he thought Edward wasn't an out-and-out striker. He was more a number 10. And I think he kind of get laughed at. But I think the same would be said with Kyogo. Although he's banging in the goals, I do think he's well marked that he'd be a better number 10 behind the striker than being up through the middle himself.
It's a hard one because he's good just playing off the shoulder of that last defender as well. And yet you can see... I know that. See, you're talking there. You're probably right. He's a better footballer than he is a striker. He's probably the exact opposite of Maida. Maida for me is a better. I know you're not a big fan, Mark, but I take Maida in my team every day of the week. I just think he does what Roger says last week. When you get into 10 men, you're really not down to 10 men if you get into Maida. You're still at 11. He's a reason for one of the biggest reasons for me we come back for Ibrox with a result because he shut down that full side Tavernier and that full side Rangers. What he does, what I was saying to you the night, I mind hearing this stat years ago. 90% of the time a player's not on the ball. So what he does when he's not get the ball is more important statistically than what he does than when he has got the ball. And I think.
But Maida doesn't do much when he does have the ball.
No, his final ball times he tried to cause brain damage to the Green Brigade a few times the other week there. But
even that shot he took last night as well, when he should have just, was it Kyogo was just across from him and a better option.
But
his energy, you can't fault his energy. Why not pull him back and play him as a CDM and let him just run about chasing the ball down all day in that midfield?
I think he's definitely. I don't care who you are or what standards you're in Europe. You must hate playing against. They must detest playing against Maida. He's just a pain. he's also had that success playing through the middle, the hat trick as well. He's played there with Japan as well. But when you look at it, Kyogo and Maeda's no 6 feet between the two of them. To me, you're just needing. You're needing that bit of physicality about the team, not up front and in the middle of the park. That to say the previous manager. It was the one thing I didn't agree with. And you always said if we can move the ball the way we do move it in the middle of the park, we don't need a Lewis Ferguson. What happens if you can't get a hold of the ball in the middle of the park?
That's all right. That's all right. That's all right in the SPL in that, John.
Right.
You know what I mean? But
yeah.
At the higher up level, like I keep saying it, McGregor always gets found out at that level doing this job, and it's no slating the guy. He's one of the best Celtic players I've ever seen, but he's just not suited to doing that job in Europe. Because in domestic games, we can get away with it. I know we struggled against Rangers for a few seasons here with the physicality and that, but when you look at the game at Ibrox here, John, when they stood off McGregor and let him play his natural game, he ran the show for me that day. You know what I mean?
That was a wake up call that Beale was just an absolute charlatan. You know, they gave McGregor the freedom at Ibrox. They played that game with slippers on.
And the ideal thing was, see when they did double up on McGregor, it just it left Matt O'Reilly with acres of space to run the show. So that's the kind of thing that we should be looking at. But I totally agree with for Ange to come out and say that. That was just, for me, that was a bit naive for him to come out and say that, to be honest, I think. Evening, Kieran, thanks very much for coming in again, mate. Nice to see you, bud.
I think if you look at the January, looking forward to the January window, you're needing we're talking about this tonight between ourselves, man. I think you're needing a goalkeeper. I'm massively disappointed that was he Polish, that goalkeeper we were looking at? The
Croatian.
6-8. If we could have got him for 6-8, now we need to buy a number 1. I love Joe Hart. On record as saying I think Joe Hart was Andy's best, and I think Joe Hart is the reason that Angie won the league in his first year, because he wouldn't have won it with Bain and Barkas in the goals. Barkas, I was behind the goals for the West Ham friendly. Barkas is the worst Celtic goalkeeper I've ever seen in my life. Joe Hart, I think what he brought to the comp, what he brought, you know, just more than just. I think he's an excellent shot stopper. I think Roger is maybe not asking to play with his feet, which he's helped him a bit more. He's okay, but he needs to buy a number 1 for Joe to sit behind if Joe's going to stay at the club another year or another 2 years. We don't need to buy a backup to Joe. Johnson we're fine at right back. Johnson, I think Johnson's better than Juranovic, and that's saying something.
I'd agree with that.
Ralston's a very capable backup. Geez, if we can't knit 2 centre halves out the 12 that we've got, there's something wrong between Lagerbielke and Rocky and CCV back. Scales has been outside. Scales is keeping the jersey for me now, right enough. I'm a big Taylor fan. For me, when Carter Vickers is back, it's Carter Vickers and Scales. 100%.
Yes, Kieran saying Barkas is worse than Carol Muggleton. I'm just saying you're only 23, John.
That's right. I think he was. I remember Celtic running it at Hampden, and Muggleton was in good. They read the team out. It was Wayne Biggins, Muggleton, and we'd signed 2 fucking soldiers as well. I thought, oh man, this is just an all-time low.
It was one of the soldiers, know that. But Greg Holt.
That's right.
He had a decent enough career. He went on to have a decent career, didn't he?
I'm not sure what happened. I think the holder of the jersey for the worst keeper was Andrews, but Barkas.
Ian Andrews.
Barkas was just something else. I mean, what did we pay for Barkas? $5.5 million. This is
4.5, I think it was. But
it's not about spending the money. It's about spending the money wisely. I don't know what Celtic's scout network is worldwide. I don't know how good or how bad Mark Lowell is. But I just see the model. Is back to that? Seeing the model again, and it was Angie obviously had his finger on that when they asked him, and that was 2 years ago. What's your take on recruitment? He said it's not fast enough, and he didn't just mean he's not getting them in the door fast enough. He means but back to that, and it's, as I said, it's not what Ennies is wanting to hear. We're needing to actually, and it's fine tying these players down to 5-year deals, matter really great bits of business. As I said, if I'm a cynic, is are any of them going to see the term of their contract out? Guy few, I would have thought. Kyogo maybe, Matt O'Reilly, no chance. Hatate, no chance. So we're needing to actually be bringing these players in development, moving them on quicker than we're doing, although that's not what any is really want to hear, because it's the only way we've got to generate that additional income. To say you can't, there's no more TV money. There's no more backside you can get into that stadium. I don't think the club can rip any more money at us. The only way is bringing players in development and moving them on. If you have to attract that next player, as you say, it's about wages. The signing on fees are almost immaterial. It's about the wages that you commit to over that 3, 4, 5 year period. But to me, I just don't see. I've kind of resigned myself to the fact that I'm never going to see Celtic making an impact in Europe. You're almost there, albeit that we live in hope. And there, as I said, they're certainly.
It's the hope that kills you, but doesn't
it? I went to bed last night. I was absolutely scunnered last night. I really was. I thought, man, how many times have we watched this? And that's no criticism of the players. And as much as I didn't want him here, it's no criticism of Brendan Rodgers. It's I think you've got an elite manager. If anybody, he's in game management. His ability to develop players. I don't think you have a better man in there. Big question mark, as I said, what did they sign up to? Because I don't think it was us.
William Smith saying if JFP is only 23, does that make him a project? I'll be getting pelters because of all the experience. He's Paul and Ternson here. I brought in the projects and in camps in JFP.
So else is a project.
Join the club. January's a tough month, tough window to bring any players in. I know there's talk of that Liverpool keeper.
I'm just going to mention him there. I know. What do you think of him? He's not knowing much about him.
I've not seen
Is it Kelleher?
Kelleher.
I don't watch anything that's south of that border doesn't exist in my world. So I don't watch them. I'd rather watch lower league Scottish football than before I watch this. I don't know anything about him.
He's 24-year-old, and I don't even think he's played 30 first-team games for Liverpool.
Nah, he should be out playing games.
I don't even think he's played 30 first-team. Did he go out in loan or anything? No, he's not even been out in loan or nothing.
Nah, see, no, I'm not going to say no for me. I mean, he must have something about my feet at Liverpool. But
it's a bit of a gamble. It's a bit of a gamble for me.
Aye, I'd like to read somebody with a bit more experience.
The Seacrest one's a funny one, isn't it?
Was that sorry?
The Seacrest one's a strange one, isn't it?
Aye. Especially when he came out himself and said, I was planning to move to Australia. His woman's a famous, I don't know, TikToker or YouTuber or something like that.
I don't know if he's caught his. I think he nearly got a broken nose last week. His attempt at humour certainly failed anyway. Did you see him? They were showing racism, the red card. Did you see that? I think it was it.
I showed Joe Hart.
I think he was. He nearly got his nose broke. I think. I don't think Big Joe appreciated it.
It's a weird thing that he's still here. I thought maybe he was forced to stay for like this two goalkeeper rule for the Champions League in Europe and stuff like that. But the players up basically come out and says, look, I'm negotiating to get freed out of my contract and that. I don't want to be here. I want to immigrate to Australia. And yet he's still here. Plus he get game time after that.
Just you're saying, but when you talk about recruitment, you watched that game last week and I'm thinking, we've got Bain in goals here, we've got Forrest starting. I'm thinking, I don't believe I'm watching this. It's Bain. The man that throws his ball in the Easter Road. No. And we've still got him there. Forrest starting. They harm me, Forrest. Forrest has been a great servant to the club, but his days he's starting for the Celtic first team should be passed him away.
I think that was mere a case, but John, it was just because it was like Livingston on that crappy pitch and stuff like that. He's played there a fourth game. He knows what it's all about. Get him playing there. Because imagine you flung in one of the young players on that and they just had a complete utter disaster.
But see, for me last night, I'm absolutely no criticism of Brendan Rodgers or as much as I say this, I didn't want him back. With hindsight, if I was sitting with, if I was Dermot Desmond and I was sitting with 72 million in the bank and I was going to bring a manager in, I'd have brought Rodgers in, even if I didn't like him. He was probably, even when you look at where we all talked about Nixon and the like, Rodgers was probably the best bet, but he didn't come here to coach projects. I just can't see that at all.
No, I think that's one of Rodgers' strong points, John. That he can coach players and make players better, but right. it shouldn't be just that.
That's right. That's exactly right.
There should be, as I said, there should be that kind of tier system. Aye,
we need quality and we need power. That was his word. We need power in the middle of the park. We need quality. And he didn't. He
said that the day he came in. So it's not,
right.
and it's not as if there wasn't enough time for them to do that. And we were all sat there and said, "Oh, we've not got Champions League qualifiers, plenty of time. We don't need to rush. We getting signings. We just need to make sure it's the right signings." And
are we all warming to our Brendan again? Then, what do you think?
I am. I wasn't want. I was like you, John. I didn't want him, but when you sit back with a clear head,
I kind of see when Ange left. I said to Welsh, I done that. I'm not buying into an Celtic manager bullshit ever again in my life, man. I'm nearly 25-year-old. You know what I mean? I'm too long in the tooth to buy into all this kind of stuff now.
I think we lost Campsey there. I think we've lost him. I think we're a man down. No. Was he there? Right?
I was laughing at Mark trying to say he was only 25.
What were you saying about Brendan coming back, Campsey?
No, I wasn't for it at all. But then see when you actually sit back and look at it, or you thought about it, it was the safest pair of hands out there.
100%.
To take his. The one thing, he is a good coach. There's no denying that. And I've heard folks say his in-game management was shite. I mean, there was a couple of people I talked to today were blaming him for putting on Vickers, but I wouldn't have blamed him for that either. I mean, that boy Phillips, I thought he's considering the amount of football he's played, he's done decent, but he's not played a lot of football.
He's also, was he on a
yellow as well? Aye, he'd been booked. So you're kind of scrambling to hold on. I think it was a fair deal to bring Vickers on.
So no, I wouldn't. I think he's by and large his in-game management's good, and he does change it when things are going wrong. So no, I'm definitely warming to him, mate. I think his hands are tied.
I'm never going to be buying a Brendan Rodgers t-shirt, but I'm happy that he's at the club. I'm certainly not going to be. I'm not going to be kidded on the fact that he pays a wee boy 50 quid to run onto the park so I can put you back in the crib bed. That's a howler, eh?
I'm still hopeful that he's going to be getting serious cash to spend. I mean, if we win this league this season, and we're a strong chance now, I think it's got to finish them, and then we've got to use the money to try and progress in Europe, especially with this new format.
The biggest threat to the league is the two biggest threats to the league was Beale leaving and St Mirren. I think I was really disappointed. As much as it was a hoot last week watching the meltdown, I was disappointed. I was hoping that Beale would have been there for another wee while.
Okay, at least the St Mirren game it went 10 points behind.
I don't know what kind of cash I've got. The one I wouldn't, the one guy I wouldn't like to see them getting because he's been getting. It's all about what we do, but the only name I've heard that I wouldn't like to see that come at them would be Muscat.
I think it's a certainty they're going for him.
He won the league, the J League.
He's done flew in Angie's slipstream. Is it slipstream you call it? Hung on his coattails.
They've been copying our homework for a wee while, eh?
Well, but that's what. See Muscat, he went into that James Forrest, the blogger guy, he wrote an article on it the other day. He get that Japanese, the jobber in Japan just because he just he went in and just kept doing what Ange was doing. And that's what he's basically done his full career. He's always been kind of coasting along on Ange's coattails. That Musket would be a disaster.
Meanwhile, they've got Steve Davis and the Undertaker.
What's their actual score? What's their score? Do you know?
I think the one I heard the Hun next door roaring.
Oh, 2-1. They're getting beat.
It must have been Jabba. I think I heard him.
Yeah, 2-1. They're getting beat.
Oh, they're getting beat?
They're getting beat 2-1.
Oh, superb. I heard
their new management team. A boy that left them when they went bust because they run in the same club, and an Undertaker used to play for Celtic Boys Club.
Yep.
People don't know. But Alex Ray used to be in Celtic Boys. He was in Celtic Boys Club books.
I never knew that at all, mate.
Aye. I think it's even on his Wikipedia page. But Alex Ray would start off at Celtic Boys Club.
Oh, I don't read that Wikipedia, man. See the things that they can edit.
I know they can edit stuff.
They used to go before every signing and see if they were in the Republican movement and all that.
Aye.
Somebody was saying, aye.
Aye, that 2-1. No, see, that's the thing about it, man. That's first in our result, but see, when we're talking about this with next year's Champions League, that's what I was going to say. See the thing about it. Next year, this does away with all this. If we can finish third and dropped into Europa League and stuff like that, all that's done away with now. Do you know what I mean? It's just Champions League and that's it. I mean, don't get us wrong, the money again, but what's the point of getting the money for not going to spend it?
Aye,
look at the figure Celtic just released now, right? And I can't mind the stuff should be in it, or stuff people thought was in it that isn't in it, and all this kind of stuff. When account dates for and all that, I don't really follow much stuff like that now. But we're sitting here now, we say £72 million in the bank. We've still not got this season's Champions League money in the bank. There's probably still more money to come in for sponsorships and all sorts of stuff and that. And then if we get the Champions League next year, Celtic's got to be sitting with £100 million in the bank. Easily.
We can have that with the women's team, though, will we know? They're brilliant to do something to Champions League team, Matt.
Is there a women's Champions League?
I seen Lazio. Did Lazio start bringing their women's team on?
I know that was a belter, wasn't it?
I've told Mark I'd disband it, man. What waste of cash? I hope I'm not getting him a penny.
Oh, I know it's not politically correct and all that stuff to say it, but women's football, it's no for me at all.
It's no my cup of tea, you know, mate.
What pronouns are you using, Mark?
me, myself, and Irene. I mean,
well, I see the Barrafield's getting done up and renovated, and I think that's where they're going to be training it, is it not?
Aye, but that's for a youth team and that as well, isn't it?
Aye, you keep the noise. I thought they'd end up moving everybody over there.
They probably will eventually, maybe. Especially even during the winter, you know what it's like up you, but that time of the year camps, you know what I mean?
I'm amazed. I've said this to you before.
They're doing work up there in Aubert.
I don't know how they never, when the first thing got open, they never had an indoor park. It was always the one thing that I couldn't understand. We used to train and play up there, although it was at nights. It was frozen.
Shut.
It was the pitches and that it's always frozen or always. They never had a pitch indoors to be training on, an 11's pitch. But they've moving an indoor pitch up there now. They've done away with it. It's a multi-gym since COVID.
Is it? Aye.
So they could be doing they spoke about putting, one of the, I think St Mirren had it, see the kind of wind domes, like tents. I think they looked into putting one up there, but the wind speed and all that stuff and the location, it wasn't going to be ideal for it. So that scuppered them trying to get one of them for an indoor pitch. So their hands been forced, I think, to do this at Barrafield.
I think, was it no Rodgers that wanted that big air dome pitch thing built in his first year, wasn't it?
He was here. The last time he was here.
So you're not a fan of the women's football then, Campsy, no?
No, I mean, many years ago, I think I was at 14, so our team played the Australian women's team. They came out on a tour of Scotland. We
Did
played them
the
then.
moustaches like Big Angie?
No, well, hey, we thought this is going to be great fun. Females playing football, but I get battered for pillar to post after these so-called women. But the standard of football.
You did, Jerry.
Aye, mate, aye. I was
Just for the record, Jerry's about 6'10" and about 45 stone.
I wasn't always that way. It's about 7 feet with a high heels on a Friday and all, so Gabber can confirm. But no, mate, I get battered for pillar to post. But the standard of football was terrible. And I've tried to watch it. I try to force myself to watch it. It's not for me. Not for me at all.
See, if you're into it, fair dues. It's no my cup of tea, but see all the kind that is like, I mean, it's something to see on like Twitter and things like that. I'm not interested in it, so I don't comment on it. But you get people on it, they're moaning about it, and then you got all these people that say, and it's like, you fully Celtic, no matter what team and shit like that. Nah, that's not for me. Do you know what I mean? They're not bringing it. This. It's just ticking a political box or whatever you want to call it. Do you know what I mean? A checklist of what's right on the new today and that. And it's rammed down your throat every sports programme and everything. Do you know what I mean?
That's what I was going to say.
And then they killed FIFA. They killed FIFA, the computer game.
The world's went nuts.
Nobody I know about FIFA this year, but Jabber Camps, we were all well into that. But no, the best cared in the game's a woman that retired playing, an American woman. I can't even mind her name.
I know who you're talking about. She was the captain, that Raphaels or whatever her name is.
About 20 odd years ago, she retired, and she's the best player in the game. And now you can mix teams with men and women, and you get women cared in packs and all that. So we all sacked that off.
Aye.
I mean, women's football's been a thing for years. Do you know what I mean? I can mind the lassies even at our school been playing. There wasn't many of them, but there was lassies that played football for women's teams. So it's always been a thing, but I don't know why all of a sudden it seems to be the in thing that everybody needs to be fucking getting into and away following the team about and stuff like that. Because let's not be kidding. The football's garbage. That's your levels.
Good goalkeepers or something else, eh?
I know. All you do is hit that ball on target and you've got a goal.
That was us with Barkas, was it not?
That's what I was going to say. They've all got Barkas and goals.
Maybe Barkas has defined himself as some other, I don't know, pansexual or some mad thing. I get stuck with all that stuff. I'm better staying away from it. I'll end up losing the channel. I'll end up saying the wrong thing.
You're actually getting to the point now. You're getting to the point now. You're frightened to speak. I held the door open for a girl on site recently, and she told me that was sexist.
You're joking me.
No, says I held the door open for you because you're a human being, and it's good manners to hold the door open. I held the door open for you if you were a man. I held the door open because you were behind me.
You just hold that door open for somebody if they're coming in the same door as you.
Bonkers, mental.
I punched on the chops.
I was just going to say that. You should have just held her head in the door and slammed it right in her coot and said, "Sorry, mate." Big man, sorry, big man.
It's a crazy world.
Where are we going for in January then, John? What position, if you could sign one player or one position, strengthen it, where would it be?
Well, I mean, that's a real hard. But if you said to me, I've only got one, I've got one shout, one position.
Aye, where would you go? Striker.
Yeah, and I don't see. I don't see a lot of people buying this wrong. Although Rogers did mention, I'm sure he mentioned physicality up front as well. Striker. I think you could live with Joe Hart to the end of the season. I think you could live with Taylor. With Scales can go to left back. You've got 104 centre halves. You've got AJ. You've got Ralston back up. You've got mere midfielders. You could have a fire sale with midfielders. You've got. But if that shoulder Kyogo's pops it,
I wouldn't bother.
You've got nothing.
Do you think that should have been left up to the player when he gets out of operation?
No.
I don't think that's right either.
I feel the same as I feel with international football. These guys that are bad they're just back for injury, then they're away getting injured again with their national team. He who pays the piper calls the tune. The guy who pays your wages is the guy that should call the shots. I don't get how the precedence of international football. I understand everybody's desire to want to represent their country. I understand that, totally natural. But as I said, he who pays the piper calls the tune. And Abada injured, coming back from injury away over there with Israel and getting injured again, ridiculous. So I think in that case the personal choice should have been taken away from you. Going to told you're getting the operation in the close season.
Aye, that's exact. I mean, that was the exact time to get it done. It wasn't as if he was away with Japan or anything like that, was he? So he had that kind of layoff to get the operation done and dust it, and that would have been it. And as John just says, we're one done. I mean, I don't know, what did he get into that changing room and do the other week? Like, was it lethal wet and Mel Gibson's whacking his shooter off the pillar?
To get it back in.
Mind the Coyote, was that Ibrox he went off his shoulder and then came running back out as if none had happened?
It was recently he done that.
Aye,
but he done it last season and was it the season before? He got a challenge and that was him, shoulder grubbed.
I know I'm digressing here, but as I said, I was watching that Fire Stick kept freezing last night, and so I kind of half watched it, and I didn't have the heart to watch the highlights again. My first take was, I think I said to the good lady, I says, that goal's no offside if Maida didn't touch it.
Aye.
And I didn't think Maida had touched it.
Mm-hmm.
I've only saw that was a once. It didn't look to me as if the flight of the ball, the path of the ball changed, but I'm assuming it was a correct decision, was it?
Oh, it was minuscule, wasn't it, Jerry? Have you seen it? Were you at the,
I think he just got it. I think he just got it. We're looking at the bus the way home.
So there's made a touch. There's made actually touch.
He does, John. The slightest wee touch.
Couldn't have been much in it.
No, it definitely wasn't. But see, like that, for me, it's even though technically he did get the touch in that. For me, even with VAR, see when it's the kind of decisions, and I've seen decisions give against us that I've thought that's a bit. I'd feel terrible if that went our way. There's got to be a bit of come and go, like it surely. It can't be sort of robotic as that. I mean, it could have been. Honestly, John, see the way the ball moved, it could have been his lace that deflected it, couldn't it? The tongue of his boot or something like that.
I only saw it. I saw it when it happened, and then I saw it when it shows you the replay again. And I thought it didn't look to me as if the flight of the ball had changed, but obviously, which you would think it would do if it had it happened.
Like as Matt says, it was minuscule, but there has got to be a kind of a definitive line. I mean, I thought they were wanting to change that offside rule at one point as well, with where it was.
Well, they were looking at it. They were trialing it in a. Apparently, they were trialing it in Holland this year, where just now, if there's any part of your body offside, you're offside. They were going to do they were trialing it the opposite, that all of your body had to be
offside.
Is that right? I think that's right. All of your body had to be offside. Before you were offside, I think that was the rule. I'm with Mark. I think you should favour the attacking player. That was a sickener last night. That's just. I couldn't
believe it. They were saying it was a VAR check. I was like, what's happened here? It was into the bus on the way home.
I couldn't even eat it.
We were watching the replays, and you're seeing it's just. I think it was a hair strand off, and that was it.
When you see their goal as well, that goes in slow motion as well, isn't it? You're thinking, for fuck's sake, do you know what I mean?
That ball for ages, the first one.
But see there, quite right. I've said this before. I know I've noticed it I don't know if it's down to this zonal marking carry on, because we've spoken about that for a couple of years now as well. But why do Celtic know of guys on the post?
On the post, yeah.
See AJ last night. He was in the. See if AJ was in the inside of the goal post, he'd have stopped that ball going in.
Yep.
He's positioned, and that's down to coaching. That's down to the way the coaches set them up for the set pieces. But Celtic seem to be getting caught for that for years. And putting men on the post, they don't seem to put men right on the post, and it just seems to cost us time and time again.
I'm with you there, Mark. I tried to play in defence, and I would always teach. I say to my boys, man for man. See if you've got your man, you know where they are. That's your job. You know what you're going to do. But this Zono Martin, I can't understand it. I think it's one of these fancy things that's come in for the continent, and everybody's jumped in it. But if you've got your man in the post as well, if he's sitting spare, it's cutting down the keeper's job as well.
I was always of the view, I've never seen a zone scoring a goal.
Exactly.
It should be, it's man. You asked me the question there about if I had one position I could strengthen. My second one would have been goalkeeper, by the way. Would have been if you'd have given me two. But striker, what about yourself? What would you think if you'd what one?
I would have went for I would have went for keeper. I love Big Joe. I'm like you. I thought he won his that league that first season. 100%. I voted for him in the players, the fans player of the year. But again, at the start of this season, I thought, nah, Joe, you're going to be backup to whoever we're bringing in here, and good backup he would have been, or even give him say, look, you'll be playing in the cup games. I would have probably at the start of the season. I know you'll not be happy to hear it. I was dying for another left back, because anytime you go and watch teams, they always try and target Taylor. See when it's kick-off, they've always overloading his side, wanting out Bawz over the top of him, looking to try and target him. So I would have went for a left back. But right now, if somebody said to me, you can sign one player, sign position, where would you strengthen? I tend to agree with you. It would be up front or even left mid for me. Up front, I know we've got an abundance of wingers, but a right good left mid would have done me, and I would have kept my head on the right for his work rate.
I think you're right in terms of that left side getting targeted, but I think a part of that as well for pressing rates. Hatate's stats say his pressing rates is the worst in the team. And so you're exposed in that left hand side because you've got Hatate in that left hand side of midfield, and you've got Taylor.
Yep.
So you're exposed there. But for me, a lot of the criticism that comes on Taylor should come on Hatate, and I certainly think he's certainly been much better since Rodgers stopped trying to put a square peg in a round hole and let him come inside again. And the modern terminology.
In Vert, he's certainly been. I believe he was a midfielder at one time, so he's certainly been much improved.
Aye.
But for me, Bernaby's that ship has sailed. Bernaby's not happy.
I'd even say there's got to be a better young Scottish player playing in the league than now that we could go and get his back up to Taylor. If we're not going to replace Taylor, I love Taylor, you know that, and I'll stick up for him, but fair dues, maybe Champions League levels a bit too much for him. But again, look at the step up Taylor's made the last couple of years.
He gives you everything he's got, Marcus. I know that's going up, but
could Rodgers turn him into a Champions League player? Maybe. I mean, because he has improved some amount for the last couple of seasons.
The clamber for Kieran Tierney to get brought back here this summer would have pissed me right off. See, if Taylor had to get binned after the last 2 or 3 years he's given us for the Wonder Boy to come back, that would just absolutely scunnered me. That
he's out to next year.
You saw him at the weekend. He gets clattered. It's clattered against Motherwell, and yet and he's back his feet to come inside.
Everybody expected him to get fucking streets or doff during that, didn't they, John? That tackle.
The ball he places in, he could have a whale pop it into the box. He places an inch perfect pass right into the path of Big Gorgeous Boy at the back post there. What a goal! I love Taylor. I love a man that gives you everything he's got. And Greg Taylor's certainly one of them.
Aye, definitely. He's one of. I mean, he's a wee guy, but Campsey's just a way to get a charger. John will be back,
I don't know if you've seen. Have you saw any? Have you saw any? He's done these interviews with the players and that.
Aye.
He's obviously got a bit of character about him as well.
He's meant to be a wee Crabbit get. He's meant to be like that kind of wee guy. He's a wee.
Aye,
they're Jerry back now. He's meant to be like a wee kind of Crabbit guy that likes a moaning that, but I mean, even there any kind of physical bother or that on the pitch? Taylor's the first one in there. Aye.
Said Jerry, have you never seen any of these Taylor's done the interviews with the players or anything? No.
Aye, I've watched a few of them, but
he's got a bit of character about him. And I tell you, if he's I see a lot of somebody. I was president of the High Hilts, as I've always done. I always thought he was he had come from a provincial club. He was following in the footsteps. He arguably one of the best fullbacks that we've had for many years, and he just had to grow into the jersey. I thought there was a player in there.
He took his time. It took a bit of time. But one thing you can knock, he gives 100%, and he doesn't go hiding. And through all the criticism he's had for the fans and that, he's never shirked it. He doesn't shirk a tackle either. But he's made a stern stuff. He's met the challenge head on. So you've got to give him that. He's got something about him.
I was praising him the other day there, and as I always do on Sunday, I was quick to point out to me that he had grown up on the other side of the divide. I'm thinking, as if I didn't know that.
I've seen a few folk
thinking, couldn't care. Unlike the team south of the Clyde, I'm not remotely interested in where a Celtic player goes or doesn't go on a Sunday. I go where I go. I'm not remotely interested in where any Celtic players, Scott Brown, Danny McGrain, some of Kenny Dalglish, some of the fantastic players, no interested.
Callum
McGregor, exactly right. They hate McGregor. Absolutely detest McGregor. And I'll tell you one thing, if Greg Taylor's a Rangers man, he's fucking hiding it well. He's I just love the wee guy. I'll be delighted if he's the next deal that's rolled out, extended. Particularly you've got the Scottish quota there as well. I think he's earned it independent of that as well as possibly CCV after we get our last night's goal.
You know, John, I've always stuck up for Taylor as well, but could we get better than Taylor? Aye, definitely. I'm not disputing that. Yep. If we get better than Taylor, he's going to be a really cracking player in my opinion. I've said this before on the podcast, there is not a player in that Celtic team, even including Cal McGregor, that we couldn't get better than. But it's down to money and stuff like that. But there isn't a player in that team, in our squad, that we couldn't get better than.
See the one that's kind of lost on me a wee bit. Everybody talks about the ceiling that some of the players have got. I think Matt O'Reilly's ceiling, if that's the word that we're using, that seems to be the buzzword in Matt O'Reilly's ceiling, I think, is up there with the best of it. And as much as I can see everybody bigging up Hatate, man, it makes me wonder how good was McStay. If fucking Hatate is what everybody's.
Matt O'Reilly swiped the flare with Hatate this season so far for me, John. And that's not just, I've done a wee man crush on Matt O'Reilly if he came in and that, but I'm absolutely delighted. I'm delighted with the way he's playing now. He really is. And I saw an interview, and I think it was with Rodgers saying that he's trying to make him into the complete number 8.
Yep.
And that's what came into my head, Paul McStay. I'm not comparing Matt O'Reilly to Paul McStay by any extent of the imagination, but it'd be hard push for any player in Scotland to ever come near that. But he has got the same kind of attributes. That kind of kind of calmness in that about him as well when he's get the ball with him and that stuff like that. But Hatate's been a major disappointment this season so far.
Big time, man. Big time.
And I don't like to say it. I don't like to make it out as if players are pong flankers, but even down to see when he was injured, I was a bit dubious about how serious the injury and stuff like that was. I was delighted that he signed a new contract. Because, I mean, obviously, again, what we spoke about earlier, it was just a case of, we're just going to get top dollar for him with the extension. But he didn't need to sign that. It's kind of showed his commitment when a lot of the people were thinking he was further off, and it looked as if he was one away, and then he didn't get a move and stuff like that. So I'm delighted he signed, and I've no doubt that he'll get back to his best.
So the body language experts that we've got among the
Aye, because I didn't smile and stuff. But I've no doubt they'll get back to his best. And it's in Scotland anyway, domestically. For me, the midfield three, McGregor, O'Reilly, and Hatate will romp in front of us in Scotland.
If somebody was coming in and putting 20 million on the table with me for Hatate, I would bite their leg off.
Aye, I'd maybe take that.
I would much rather keep a hold of. I think Matt O'Reilly has got the potential to be nearer a Paul McStay than Hatate will be.
An all rounder.
Aye, I think so. Aye, don't get me wrong. For me, I'm right up there with you know, we just we've been feeling privileged to have watched every game probably that Henrik Larsson played at Celtic Park. Equally, I feel privileged to have watched Paul McStay. Paul McStay was some player. Arguably, potentially, maybe didn't score enough goals, but when he did score, was it the centenary years, 87 or 80? One of the years, he was a league of his own. Played with some donkeys round about, but what a player.
Right. But Paul McStay could have played for any team in the world.
I think you're right. See, arguably, maybe he didn't score enough goals, but when he did score goals, they were peaches as well.
Aye, but even that he wasn't scoring goals, everything else he done on the park. Do you know what I mean? It was he deserved so much more honours and stuff like that, but it didn't work out the way it was. But fair.
When everybody talks about nice Paul McStay, and he undoubtedly was a gentleman as well. But he was I think the bit that people overlook was he was as hard as nails McStay as well.
On the park, definitely.
100%. You know, it was. I had Grant beside him. Maybe I mean, you know, you look back at that team. I was up watching the B team up at Airdrie Stadium last year, and Collins was beside me. He's tiny.
Aye.
But he's still well at himself. But John Collins, as much as he seems to be a bit of an arse of a man by all accounts, he was some type of player, John Collins.
Oh, you know? Collins was class as well.
McStay and Collins. I mean, Collins was a stick out when he was with Hibs. You know, he was similar to kind of John McGann. You could see Collins was a fit player when he was playing with Hibs before he comes to Celtic. You know, that was some midfield Celtic they had at that time. You just wish you had got all these. I saw a poll recently, man. We were talking about the kind of was it the greatest post-Lisbon line Celts, and it was. That was quite predictable. I can't remember. Obviously, Larsson was one. Larsson,
McGrain,
Danny McGrain, Kenny Dalglish, and Paul McStay.
See, I find it hard to pick. See, the fullbacks in my best ever Celtic 11, and Kieran Tierney doesn't get near them.
No, I mean,
I've got McGrain, Tom Boyd, and Jackie McNamara in front of him.
It's great. You know, I get into St Andrews Bar in Cold Bridge, and sometimes it's fantastic. See if you have different generations discussing this. It's absolutely there's guys younger than me. I've got my laddie, and my laddie's always when he talks about but he always talks about Jackie McNamara, which is a good shout. If you didn't see, I mean, for me, Danny McGrain's the best fullback ever I watched. But if you talk about MD at left back, some of the old boys down there talk about Tierney. Absolute nonsense. One of the old boys says Tommy Gemmell was, you know, and then even when I talk about McStay, there's one of the old boys who say, "Man, you never seen Bobby Murdoch play," you know. It's fantastic when you get that. I just love that. Even I think, in fact, his name came up in the live chat last night. Big Elliott was the best for me. He was the best centre half. Best centre half I'd watched at Celtic Park.
Mick McCarthy.
Mick McCarthy was.
Mick McCarthy was some player by the way. He was the only. I think he was actually classed as English at the time. Maybe right enough. But Big Mick was. He was the only Englishman at the time playing out in France or something like that when we signed him. I'm sure we signed him for Lyon. Big Mick McCarthy was solid, by the way. What a player he was.
I was reading a bit that came up on the computer today. Apparently, he's ruled himself out of the clan job. Jeez, that would send
McCarthy has.
That would send him into fucking meltdown. Mick McCarthy. Big Mick just hit the ball the way he was facing. He was like, do you remember Sabutio when you were younger?
Aye, but he was. But nothing get by him, John. That's what I mean. He was a big, old-fashioned centre half.
That's what I thought we had bought, and I'm not saying nothing yet, but that's what we've been crying out for, was like a Mjallby, a Mick McCarthy, a Stubbs, somebody that can, an Elliott, somebody that can put their head in the ball at both ends of the park. And then, ironically, I've not seen it again, I don't know if he's to blame, but we lose a goal.
Big Vickers.
For a corner kick last night. And we've got Phillips. Phillips in the centre of defence here. Is he at fault in any way? I've not seen it.
I wouldn't say he was at fault much for it, but I suppose when you're signing that kid, when we were talking, actually exactly what people tell me he was, John. He was that kind of big no-nonsense defender that just stuck his head body any bit that he could get in to stop the ball.
That's what I heard. I heard he's the guy for the Liverpool podcast thing. What is it called? Is it called can't I mean something? They're ranked to be one of the best. It's almost like, I can't put it. What do they call it? It's not called the Cop. Is it the Anfield Rap? That's what it's called. Anfield Rap. And the guy was saying, he says the Liverpool fans loved him. In fact, apparently there was a comment made that he would have shoved his granny out the road to get to the ball. No nonsense. In fact, he was described as a throwback to a no nonsense centre half.
Well, that Ed Wan, he done a kind of big player profile thing. I mean, that's exactly what he said to me, because I asked him about it and he said he'd done this, and I read it, plus just talked to him. Ed Wan, he's a Liverpool fan for the forums, and he said that. He said he's not the fanciest player. He said Celtic fans might. He did say Celtic fans will start, can he play out for the back, because that's the kind of thing we're used to seeing. He said, but he's an old-fashioned, no-nonsense defender that will just try and do what he can to block the ball getting in. Evening, Liam. Thanks very much for coming in, mate. Nice to see you, buddy.
Well, I thought he'd done all right with the ball last night.
I didn't think he'd done anything that bad with it. I thought he'd a decent enough game. He's not really played much. It all comes down to game time as well, Jerry, didn't it?
That's it.
One of the
boys earlier was talking about how big Giacomakis, we never really seen much of him, and he never really done much until Kyogo got his injury, and it all came down to him playing games. I think it was the boy Martin. And again, the more games the likes of O plays, the Phillips play, you're hoping they're going to kick on and get better and better and better.
I said that to you earlier, John. How can you, I think I said it even on here earlier, how can you actually come to a conclusion whether O's going to be a good player or no when he's getting 10 minutes here and 10 minutes there?
I'm not sure that Giacomakis get a fair crack at a whip under Ange. I think if he maybe it's a strength, sometimes it's a weakness. I think a lot of times it was either Ange's way or the byway. That's always his comment that always sticks out in my mind. That's why I'd love to find a way of stopping anything coming through my computer with Ange on it. I remember when Giacomakis, it was when Juranovic left. They asked him,
log out of Pornhub, John. Just log out of Pornhub, you'll be fine.
They asked him. They asked him about Juranovic. He says, "Off my radar." And I thought, that was cold. And see when you look back on it, I mean, this probably sounds like sour grapes, because we all were hanging on every word Dan said for 2 years nearly. But when you look back at it, and it's like even the thing about like, I can remember I read a story. And I can't remember the player's name, and I can't seem to find it. But a player worked with Ange while he was like a coach in the an Australian club. Right, but then he moved up, and Ange was the manager of Australia. And when the boy went to the camp, Ange never even spoke to him or nothing. And he pulled one of the coaches aside that was friendly and said, "Have I done something to upset the boss and that?" And he's like, "No, how?" He says, "He's not even spoke to me if I turned up the other day." And he went away. The guy went away and said to Ange, "If you've
has he done something wrong? Blah, blah, blah. And I just meant to have turned and said, look, tell me to worry about if I do want to speak to him. And, just I think it was even going back to O'Reilly, the way O'Reilly's going on about it. I think Ange was a bit standoffish when it came to that personal touch.
Your question about Odra, that's what I'm saying. I'm not convinced that Giakoumakis got a fair crack under Ange. In terms of I've certainly I've not had enough. I've not seen enough of home to comment yet. But what I've seen him in the flesh looks to me as if there's a player in there, even if he needs to develop a brain. His comments at Aberdeen wasn't clever for me. I've not seen enough of Yang, but although it's been limited and it's been piecemeal, when he's been given a chance, he's not taking it, Mark. He's just he's had the opportunity at times, and maybe he needs more game time. But I don't know.
I just don't think you can judge a player, John, by just getting 10 minutes here and there.
You might be right, but I remember seeing the first time Jota trapped the ball at the Jungle. He pulled the ball out there with his foot right trap, and I thought, oh man, there's a the first time you see even Giakoumakis, although it took him a wee while to get Giakoumakis. Giakoumakis was a proven goal scorer, came here as a top scorer as well. I mean,
that was a striker. That's what I was talking about earlier. Right. Comparing strikers like.
I was massively disappointed when Giakoumakis left. Massively disappointed when Giakoumakis left. If you could have a Giakoumakis, that's exactly what I would be looking for again in the January window. Would be a Giakoumakis.
You're not telling me that he can make more money on American and we could have gave him if we really wanted to keep him?
I wouldn't have thought so.
I think that was his wife that fancied to move to America. Was it? No, she kind of. I think he was a bit under the thumb with stuff in that as well. And I'll tell you, if you talk to people, man, I don't think he made the right move moving to that Atlanta. I don't think you can go there after dark and be safe, can you?
No, I don't think so, mate.
No, it's meant to be a bit of a shithole, man. Obviously, he's a kind of snobby bit, but you know why you go to a place that your wife takes you around turning, and the next thing you're getting kidnapped in that. Do you know what I mean?
That wouldn't be my cup of tea, that's for sure.
All right, Paul. Nice to join us, bud.
What about you, Marco? What would you, if you could have one signing, where would it be?
For the here and now, it would need to be a striker again.
Aye.
I don't really see how anybody can, because they even discounting the Champions League, take that out of the way. If we lose Kyogo, we're going to even struggle in the league. We'll still win, but we're not going to. Without our main striker, we're still going to struggle. And
see that
whether O can step up or no, still, as I said, it's still under question. But even if Kyogo goes out injured, we've got O. Who have we got after O? Nobody.
That's it. But I know I've been bored in the arse really about recruitment. But during that window there, somebody allowed us to get into the rest of the season and the Champions League with a man with a shoot that we know is carrying an injury, and it's likely to get the potential to get targeted, and a laddie that's yet to show he's got what it takes is back up. That team is criminal. Absolutely criminal for the club, the board.
It's even that, John. It wouldn't even need to be like a player to injure Kyogo. All it takes him is to fall the wrong way, or someone running, end up going for the ball and hitting the goalpost. Anything stupid, any freaky accident with that shoulder. It doesn't even need to be like getting, as if he's going to get targeted with opposition to put him out of the game. It's a known issue that should have been dealt with.
100%.
And I said it all window. I wasn't looking right. If we weren't going out to buy, and honestly, during the window, I actually wanted us to go out and buy a replacement for Kyogo.
I think he'll allow that. I think he'll allow that to happen for the board. The word that I use isn't too harsh. That's negligence. That's negligence.
A dereliction of duty.
100%. You're not going to tell me there wasn't somebody. We seem like we looked at the big boys at Maya. Who was the boy we looked at the big
Swedish boy?
Big Swedish boy. I can't mind his name now. That fell through as well. We looked at him. You're not going to tell me we couldn't have went and picked up somebody that could have given us that wee bit of cover for for the Champions League and for the last and for the second half of the season again. So some of these, and if you can see that, and I can see that, you're not going to tell me Brendan Rodgers doesn't see that, and hasn't he communicated that to the board?
Well, the alarm bell started ringing for me when he was talking about playing Maida through the middle in pre-season. He was talking about putting him as a striker. I thought to myself then, that's when we weren't going to be signing another one for up top.
My alarm bells, Jerry, are still ringing in terms of said back to him. I don't know what Rodgers. I don't know what Rodgers signed up to, and I don't know what he thinks he signed up to. I don't know if it's this. I would find it hard to believe it's this and that concerns me.
No, there's no. Nobody will be able to tell me different. He came here to concentrate on winning this league. There is no hope in hell. He's wanting engaged in Europe.
Yep.
It's Europe's where he's wanting judged, and he had said that previously that's where he should be judged.
That's what I said. I couldn't understand what was in this for Brendan Rodgers coming back here. The best he could do in terms of domestically would be equal his predecessor, and equal indeed. It was going to be hard to live up to Angie. It was going to be hard to even live up to what he did before. He almost couldn't come here and lower the value of his stock, for want of a better description. I just couldn't see what was in it for him, other than this. I know it was where it came for this supposed war chest. This he did talk about taking us to the next level in Europe, and I certainly, as I said, was spoken about all night. I certainly didn't see anything in that transfer window that showed me jack shit in terms of getting to the next level in Europe.
No, definitely no. What's the script with the boy Taylor? When's he fit?
I think he's back training already, as you know.
I heard he was training, aye.
Which and this, I take it he's another project again.
By all accounts, highly rated, but
I think he might be one that could actually maybe come in and do a turn right away. I'm not saying he's got to set the grass on fire right away, but I think he's at a kind of level. I think he's a wee bit higher level than some of the other ones. But I wasn't jumping through hoops about it, but when I looked at that Palmer, if you look at his YouTube videos, I know it's not the be all and end all, but if you look at his YouTube videos and stuff like that, I mean, he could be a right good player, especially his free kicks and stuff like that. See his goal against Motherwell. I'm not saying he actually meant to shoot, but he put that into that. He aimed for that.
Aye.
He knew that it was, he put that into the danger area. Was he lucky when in? He could have been unlucky and it could have went a wee bit wider, a wee bit somewhere else, but he still had that kind of thought in his head. He knew that he was hitting that to
I thought it was more a shot than a cross.
I thought it was it was a shot, but he knew that it was putting it into that kind of area. But you watch his free kicks and set pieces and some of the goals he scored, he could be a right good player for us. I really do think that.
And albeit that he's apparently the ball touch he's made a bit, apart from that, he gives you 282 last night again as well.
Aye.
He does it again last night. I mean, that was the one thing about Jota. You know, Jota was a big team player. Jota could produce it. He could produce it on the biggest stage, and that's to me what we didn't replicate in the transfer window.
But Jota could be frustrating as well, John.
Aye, but he was still a fair player. Mark.
That's the thing about it. I mean, we spoke about it before. Me and Paul and Terence, all the lads on that even here. But when we signed Jota, all the scouting reports, all this and that, always said the problem was his decision making, how to play the final ball and stuff like that. And you could see that all through his Celtic career. Many times when he's sitting there like, oh, why did you not cross that for? Oh, why did you not take him on? Why did you not do this? Why did you not do that? And as I said as well, see if his decision making was spot on, he would never have been at Celtic.
That's it. No,
he'd immediately left Benfica and went to Man United or Arsenal or something like that. If he didn't have the mistakes in him,
yep.
Would you take him back in January?
I'm not a fan of getting back. I'm not a fan of getting back to whether it's Peter Lawwell, back for Peter Lawwell, or back for Brendan Rodgers. I'm just not a fan of getting back for for anybody, doesn't matter. But see if something doesn't get you where you're trying to get to the first time round, how's it going to? If Peter Law's custodianship didn't get me to where I want to get to, where the club to where I want him to get to, and Lodges want us to get to the next level in Europe, if that, how's it going to get there the second time? If bringing Neil Lennon back, bringing Brendan Roser, I'm just not a fan of it back. No, I wouldn't take Jota back. I wouldn't take Kieran Tierney back.
Well, I'm the opposite. I agree with you. Returns very rarely work out. In fact, but if ever, you're always clinging on to the old. But he's young enough, and it's only been away 6 months. And I think that left-hand side, for me, none of them have cut the mustard yet. And I would have brought him back.
You've certainly
just for the simple fact is,
yeah,
he is a big game player. I mean, he scored goals Champions League, scored goals at Mordor. So for me, I would bring him back for that.
And I certainly don't have anything against him in terms of. I mean, one, the club pockets 25 million, and two, but they offers him 200 grand a week. I mean, that's just that's not a KT situation. That's funny money. That's life. I mean, that deal didn't change his, just change his life. That changed his life. It changed the lives of generations of his family.
His grandways haven't even thought about yet.
100%. So I certainly don't hold that against him. So fair enough. I understand where you're coming from with that. I would have less against bringing him back than I would have bringing Kieran Tierney back.
I'm with you there.
I certainly don't want to see Tierney when he's 104 coming back either.
He's injured again. He's out to next year.
Aye.
But I don't think
the thing is,
when you're injured again, did he not get cleared?
I don't know. I just know he's out with a muscle tear. Is it no? A muscle tear. He's out for.
I just saw it on the park. I thought it must have been clattered for it.
I just know he's got a muscle tear. He's out for 12 weeks. The thing with Jota, it depends on if there was a fee involved as well for him coming back. If they were getting him for nada, of course, aye. But if they're looking for cash, then no, I don't think it'd be. Well, not a lot of cash, that's for sure. I'd be going spending money on him. But it all depends on how much they're looking for him, if he's been chucked or no.
It's a weird tune, isn't it?
It's a strange one, isn't it?
I mean,
it's a shame.
We might as well touch on it if she's comfortable, if she's earning right. The stories in this about sexuality and stuff like that. Are you buying that?
I hadn't even heard it. I heard the rumour there was a rumour, but I never see when I hear stuff. I don't even want to know, really, to be honest.
That would all have been thought about.
Of course.
Even before that, whether it's true and stuff.
Was there some kind of rumour about his sexuality or something?
That's what he's been out there, and this has all come out, and that's why they blew him out the squad. And there's nothing. It's nothing at all to do with that.
Was it not to do with that striker, number one striker? That what's that boy? What's the manager of his team called? That Portuguese boy. It's no cost. I know who you're talking about. Nuno, is it Nuno?
No, Espirito or something like that, isn't it?
Him and their kind of head of director boy were falling out of who should be dropped. I think he was going to drop the striker.
It's all down to that. It's all down to this kind of around so many foreigners, you'll know that. And if it was anything to do with anything about somebody's personal life, that would all be looked into.
Most clubs do that due diligence.
But even his agent, Jerry.
You know
what I mean? Yeah, his agent even the talk on his lifestyle doesn't suit into your culture.
Aye.
That's all that needs to be said, you know what I mean? So I'm not wearing into stuff like that. That's just pure conspiracy stuff.
Nah, I don't buy it at all.
One of the best T-shirts I've seen at the time was "Stop oil now, but not until Jota's check cashes." A cracker.
I think that league will get strong. I know we've said it with Russia and China and all the rest of it with these leagues. I think that league's just going to get stronger and stronger.
Did you see the EPL were writing to?
They've spat the dummy out
because the money was jeopardising the status of the EPL. Saying, "Pot's fucking kettle black."
Aye.
Right, well, just on about that one. Here's one for you, JFP. I know you like a wee bit of political talk. You've been an Eddie.
That's you trying to stitch me up here.
No, see, right. It's one of the only few blogs I read. That James Forrest, right? So he put a blog up the other day, and he thought, right, and I mean James Forrest, he's like us, right? But he just put this up as a kind of a scenario, and see like all this Sky deal and stuff like that. Why is the SFA, if this is right, like Sky's a UK wide broadcaster, why is there no a deal? Why are we not tied in with England and Sky? Do you know what I'm trying to talk about here?
I saw the article.
What do you think of that? If you can put that a bit better than I did, if you know what I mean.
I think I couldn't get past. I think it just rubbed me up the wrong way when he started talking about the UK being one country.
Aye, but that's what he meant. That's what
he's meaning. But what he was trying to say was the United Kingdom is the one country, so the Sky's deal should be with the deal that they've got in England should be the deal they've got here.
Like UK, but the TV money should all but just be a pool. That was basically what he was saying. If you're seeing
for me, the UK is no one country. The UK is if you're talking about plight, for me, the UK is and I don't have any British identity. I don't have any sense of Britishness or. As I say, my country stops between the Solway and the Tweed. That's the bottom line. I don't have.
Mine stops at Strathie Park.
So I think I read the article and I got as far as that, and I thought if I had to accept
that's the road. I know that he did get down that road. He was pushing that. He didn't agree with it. It was but he was just meaning as the way things stand the new. What would happen if the SFA or the SPL or whatever pushed this kind of line? Where would it go legally? Right, good night, Paul. Good night, Paul. Speak to you in the morning, bud.
I think there's another question in there. I mean, I don't know about who's behind the scenes in the SFA here as well. But when you look at the television deal, that we're accepting here, I mean, the powers that be in this country and Scotland, I mean, is doing very, very little to promote the game. Probably the biggest spectacle we had was the Glasgow Derby, wasn't it? Celtic's locked out, but there's no coverage of Celtic versus Motherwell at the weekend. They've locked your fans out. The one thing that Fir Park was at the weekend, surely it's a spectacle. You see the Motherwell fans on the park with 5 minutes to go, think they've won it. 2 minutes later, the Celtic fans. They've allowed the spectacle. I mean, I wouldn't care. I've never seen them back Celtic Park. From my point of view, I don't want to see them. I don't want to hear them. They don't even exist in my world. But from a business point of view, in marketing the Glasgow Derby and Scottish football, they've detracted for the spectacle by allowing them to dictate, tell us we're not getting into the park because Brendan Rodgers said himself apparently it was his fault, because they get fed up fucking watching us celebrate, and that's the real reason. Then they're trying to turn the tables on you, offering you 800 tickets to come. We'll be putting a net up after that. They can't even guarantee the safety of your management team and your background staff.
Your goalkeeper.
100%.
Your captain, Scott 100%. Brown.
Yep.
Whatever happened to that guy ran on the park and confronted Scott Brown that day?
I don't know. Probably
nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? There was a glass fun in Joe Hart's box. Joe Hart's box. There was glass in there. So I mean, I don't go to the games, but I go to the odd game now. But so I take guys like yous that go to games every week. If you don't want them in there, I'll back you to the halt. Do you know what I mean? But I totally agree with you that it does take away from the atmosphere.
It does. From a business point of view, you want them in. I mean, from a personal point of view, I wouldn't care. I've never seen them again. But it's hard not to argue the point that for people looking outside in, it detracts from the spectacle, doesn't it? If you don't have two sets of fans, and for a merchandise point of view, for a sellable product, it's detracted for the spectacle. Only having, I mean, that when you see Kyogo's goal, a pitch as it was at Ibrox, man, the silence is deafening, It's just.
Do you think that would? Do you think that would even be allowed to happen in any other league? Stuff like that, and even I know, John, the cinch deal. Yeah, that cinch deal being blew out.
Yep. So why are they not getting them round about the table and telling them, listen, you're going to get your heads together here. Apparently, that'll not be happening this season because apparently they've sold the season tickets. And I think it should be the 8,000 or nothing. I certainly wouldn't. I mean, I've sat in the Broomloan Road stand where it was. What was that? It was probably about 8,000 at that point. And you're looking out there, and all you see is 3 stands singing the sash. Yeah.
John, I can remember going to Ibrox when I was younger, and the bats had their main stand and everything.
Yep.
People don't believe that. We'd parts of their main stand and everything.
But I wouldn't want to be there with that wee 800. And if that was intimidating enough, I wouldn't want to be in the ground as one of 800. I certainly wouldn't want to get back for Hampden to Airdrie as one of 800 there. So that's a non-starter. I think Celtic were right in saying, we're not taking 800 tickets. It's either 8,000 or nothing.
What about you, Jerry? What would you have?
I'm the same as John. I'd be happy if we never seen them again. I wanted them wiped off the face of the earth, but they're back. Well, they're back. They're there still. And I would have went for 8,000 or nada. I mean, you've heard it from some of the boys in the forum that have been going that are part of the 800, and it's no. I can't imagine it being a pleasurable experience with them raining everything down on you for all angles. I would have went with 8,000 or nothing, but I'm quite happy. I don't go to Celtic Rangers games. I've not been for years. I can't deal with the stress, the tension. I normally go for a long walk.
I've just got to say that you don't even watch them, didn't you? You just got to be up the walk to the mountains and that.
That's it. Aye, with the sheep and the wellies on. So no,
Aberdeen talk.
I think Jerry, the only argument I'm in is I said I'm 100% with you. If I never seen them again, it'd be a day too soon. But I think from a business point of view, from a spectacle point of view, from a selling Scottish football, it's the jewel in the crown, isn't it?
It's all Scottish football's got.
100%. It's a jewel in the crown. You've allowed them to detract for the spectacle, all because they couldn't getting pumped.
But if we had, you know, really want to be dealing with them, but as you said, it is the money maker for this league. We should see these TV deals. We do sell ourselves short.
Yep,
there's no doubt about it. We should have a couple of these TV deals. The money that has been offered, they've took anything. Whereas Celtic Rangers should have stuck together and said, "Look, don't even stick with them. Just say no. We're not interested in playing ball for any of these figures, and just going to try and sell the TV rights ourselves, our own games, rather than
that would be the best thing for me."
That's what
I would honestly. I would rather that Celtic were allowed to do their own TV deals and even subsidise the rest of Scottish football through it.
That's absolutely that's the point I was making. Mark, you're asking me about James Forrest. It's almost as if there seems to be a severe lack of business acumen in the SFA as well.
Yep.
Rangers to account here for allowing this to transpire as well.
I mean, see if Celtic TV were allowed to broadcast every Celtic game, whether it's a 12 o'clock kick-off, 3 o'clock kick-off, night-time kick-off, whatever. If Celtic TV were allowed to broadcast them live, we could probably give every other team in Scotland enough money to cover what they're getting off of Sky for that alone.
Yep.
I mean, that's the thing. It's pennies. You know what? I looked up. This is going back a good few years when Sky was only about £30 a month for the football, whatever. I think it was about 10 years ago, right? In Scotland, it's something like I think it was 1.5 million Sky Sports subscribers, right? At £30 a month. So much as that 30 odd million pound a month, we were only getting something like £3 million a year off them. Right, and fair dues, people are paying money for the English League or the golf or the wrestling or whatever because it's on Sky Sports, but they're paying the same money for the Scottish football because it's on Sky Sports. So there's no kind of
we're subsidising them.
There's no even divide on that. If people from Scotland are spending £30 million a month on their Sky Sports subscriptions, whether they're watching golf, snooker, fucking volleyball, wrestling, or whatever, they're still paying that, and their whatever leagues in that should be getting the kind of respect of amount to what the country's putting into it.
It's not just that, we let them dictate then, because we're locked into these wee TV deals, when we can play our games, days and times, instead of going back to the traditional Saturday afternoon. I know that we're by and large we're the Saturday, but they dictate when we've got to play our game. I mean, look at last week with the Motherwell game's prime example, as we've said. That wasn't on TV, it was a blackout everywhere. I think Motherwell TV and Celtic TV were showing it on the stick, but it wasn't on Sky or anywhere else. And that
because the Ryder Cup was on.
Yep, that was them dictating again when we can play our games.
And that's what happened. They weren't showing any games this weekend because the Ryder Cup was on. So Motherwell took it. You're allowed, I think is it 5 games a season you're allowed to take for your own pay-per-view channel. So Motherwell breezed in and done that. Asked Celtic if it was all right, and Celtic agreed with it, so the game get moved. But and free for me, really, that's fair enough. So why can the SPL not just get set up their own pay-per-view channel? Why not? Mind you, tried that. There was talk about it years ago.
We know tried with that Setanta. Remember, we're getting good. That was with like Dundee and all that. All the players, Caniggia and all that. And I think he went down the Swanee quite quick.
Aye, but was it not that was it Roger Mitchell? John, you maybe mind him. Do you mind him, Jerry? Aye.
No,
it was him. I'm sure he was right in about it in his lab. We should have done this the route. We're in channel, we're in SPL, SPFL, whatever it was at the time, like subscription channel. I mean, I'd happily pay £15-20 a month that if there was any Scottish football game on, I could put it on. Whether it's Celtic, whether it's them playing St Mirren or whatever. Just if there's a game on and you want to watch it, you can put it on. It costs you £20 a month, and every penny that's going to Scottish football and getting fairly divided. What's wrong with an idea like that?
No, there's nothing. It's a great idea if everybody could buy into it, if all the clubs were up for it. But it's getting them to come out of this Sky deal. I was hoping that that whole thing would have went tits up with them down south with the last deal, and I still hope it goes tits up for them down there. But
that's never going to happen, I don't think.
No. I think it would have happened before now, but it's just going to go. I mean, BT were trying to muscle in, and then because all the teams that are down there now and the money for all these Saudis and billionaires, they're never going to let that happen. But we've got to start looking out for ourselves rather than worrying about anybody else. And I think the only way that we can do that to maximise our revenue is
get Vince McMahon in. Get Vince McMahon in to take off. I don't know, Dermot or Peter.
See that Barry Hearn? Is it the Hearn? Have you ever heard the name?
Aye. He had some good ideas. He had some right cracking
some
ideas.
Fantastic ideas.
Aye.
I'm not saying that Law and all that, haven't they? But some of the ideas they had were really good, and it's things like that we should be looking into. But when it comes to money, I'm not the greatest.
But there are leagues in Europe that haven't got clubs the size of Celtic or even the size of Rangers. Do you know what I mean? And they're getting plenty more millions than the leagues are in overall. Do you know what I mean? But as John said there, I know it's kind of killed the marketing because of this carry on with the tickets, but it's still Celtic and it's still Rangers, and they need to try and tap into that and get away from it. We need to try and find a kind of middle ground, because it's not as if we can say Rangers fans only got to subscribe to Celtic TV and we're not going to subscribe to Rangers TV. Do you know what I mean? So you need to find a middle ground that's been run and looked at with like independent people like that, like guys like Barry Hearn, and get marketing guys and guys that are used to this kind of modern media, social media, streaming services over the world and stuff like that. I mean, how can you know Netflix wouldn't be interested in streaming Scottish football?
I'm not sure. I don't. That's what I'm saying in the powers that be in the SPL. I'm not SFA. I'm not sure that you've got the people with the business acumen there to even try to explore the potential in that aspect. But I'm sure there's other countries, other leagues that are. I don't know. 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 no much more sophisticated or better than ours that are raking in significantly more money when you see it for television deals. But it's back to my point. But they have no, they haven't helped anybody be detracting for the jewel in the crown. Is well, I mean that's obviously
That's all it's always been, John, isn't it? That's always Sky were interested in, was the Celtic, the Old Firm game, the Glasgow Derby, Celtic, Rangers, and that's it. Everything else in Scottish football was always a bit of an afterthought, which wasn't very fair on other teams as well.
I don't know about us not subscribing to Rangers TV. I've watched if you ever next to Glasgow Derby that we pump them in, I would highly recommend you watch it on Rangers TV because it's one of life's hits.
I catch the stuff on Twitter, that with Tom the commentator guy and that.
Go for Celtic.
Hey, well, that's us been done 2 hours, lads. Is that all right? We usually cut that off then.
It's all a bit of a mixed bag. We've got Rodgers back. We've nothing out of 2 in Europe, but we're not playing probably as great as fluid as we'd hope we'd get to. But we're top of the league. We're top of the league. We're 7 points ahead of them. That would add a certain.
Domestically, I think we're delighted. Apart from the League Cup, right enough. But I mean, to be this far in front is probably better than we thought, wasn't it?
You've sent the second-hand car salesman, the Cockney Wide Boy, down the road.
Andy's Mo,
and you've left them. You've left them with a squad that I don't think whether they bring the Pope of Rome in that anybody will be able to do much with it.
No.
That's my thinking. That's really my thing. I don't think any decent manager could make any different a tune out of that team they've got there.
And who's going to sign them anyway? So they'll all be in decent contracts. They're going there for nothing. So they're not even going to get any cash in.
It was good to be on, Mark. Thanks.
John, you're welcome anytime, man. I've been pestering you for about a year to come back on.
Aye. Hopefully not too depressing. I'm just as I said, it was. Aye.
Go and put your wee Ange t-shirt on, John. Go for a wee snooze. A wee cuddle into the missus with your wee Ange t-shirt on. Your Spurs top.
I've got a couple of Angie jumpers. Complete with the same wee bulge in the front.
Right, guys, it's been emotional.
Jerry, John, thanks very much for coming on, mate. I really appreciate that.
Good to speak to you as well, Jerry.
Right.
Cheers, John. Take care, buddy.
See you later on. God bless.
Good
Cheers,
night,
guys.
lads. I'll finish it up. Right. Everybody, thanks very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. Big Jerry, John, cracking guys. John, when we first started the podcast, he's well Jane up, got a good, strong opinions about Celtic. Everybody, really appreciate everybody that listened in. Everybody that listens back. And if you do remember, please hit the like button and you know how to leave a comment. Hail, good night. God bless.